I was in the Louvre a few days ago and I realized as I was thinking about Mantegna, I need to tell you something very important about numbers. Let's get to it.
Let's dance.
Welcome back on Laughing Museum. My name is Cedric. Thank you so much for watching. As I was just saying in the intro, Mantegna gave me that revelation, especially is a fantastic Saint Sebastian that I'm explaining. If you've been joining the Louvre, there's so many numbers in there, and maybe if you know me a little bit, you know I'm not a huge fan of symbolism, but I have to admit, numbers have been part of humanity from the origin of civilization, that's for sure. So we're going to count to 11 as a matter of fact, and we'll see how it goes. I try to remember as much as possible just in case I've got some notes on the side. I'm going to try to do the exercise as honestly as I can. Number one, God, divinity, the one and only. There's only one God. You can read that in Islam. You can read that in, of course, Christianism. I hashtag it on my picture. Almost as a joke, but this unicity is interesting. Number two is almost the contrary, because number two is the duality of human beings. So that's good and evil, that's the spirit and the body, that is the two genders, etc., etc., etc. Right? Number three, this one is quite easy because that is the three times that the Holy Trinity. Of course, if I take my example of Mantegna right there, you can see the three arrows are in the hands of the archer, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I know I love to do that stuff for some reason, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but it's also the three edges of life. You're born, you live, and then we die. Or we are a kid, and then we are mature, and then we are old, right? I can't really tell you in which way I am right now, but I think I'm in between the three, which is really disturbing for some reason. I was just reading this morning about Marcel Proust, a most famous French writer, that people used to describe him as an old man in a young body, which that could work for me. I mean, that could definitely work for most of us guys, I guess, right? What is important? We were moving to number three. We moved to number four. Four is very easy because there will be the four seasons. Vivaldi is helping us right there on the four seasons, of course, right? So number four is quite easy to remember. Number five is also a very easy one to remember because number five is actually the five senses, of course, right? Number six is a little bit more tricky because number six is 1 by 2 by 3 and 1 plus 2 plus 3, as you guys into mathematics should be aware of. That's why this number six is a little bit more tricky, and I really want to take the absolve of that Damien Wigney kind of book. I'm a huge fan of that book, and that is a contradiction of that because six is like between the five senses, but it's also a number that aspires to seven. I'm talking about symbolism in mostly paintings right here, or art in general, and that's why number six is. But if I do remember it from my Bible, I would say, of course, the days was built in 6 days, right? Number seven, on the contrary, like almost every religion on the planet, is the perfect number. Seven is, for some reason, absolutely ideal, right? Just a little remember as we're talking about six. I don't know if my list goes up to 12 or yes, it goes up to 12, so that's okay. 8, I didn't need my notes for number 8 because we know number 8 is of course, if you flip the 8, it becomes infinity, of course. So 8 has always been mostly infinity, and that's why if you go to churches, Baptists are always octagonal, like the one I love in Aix-en-Provence so much, where I'm going in a few days. I'm very excited to go back to Aix-en-Provence. 9 in the number 9 in the Christian painting is mostly because the Christ dies at the 9th hour. So that's the symbol of it. It's kind of a flipped 6. So it's kind of a link to the 6, which is 1 by 2 by 3, 1 plus 2 plus 3. And that's why there's kind of a mystery along that. Why did the Christ die in the 9th hour? That is a mystery, right? 10 is the Decalogue, the place of Egypt, 7 plus 3. So that's a really very, very powerful number. It is really the power of God, if I'm quoting Damien Vigny, that I'm reading right now. 11 is my favorite one because that's the number of getting better than yourself. So really going the extra mile. That's a memory trick for me, going the extra mile on this one. So 11 is for that. Actually, you probably don't care about my life, but I went back to work out a little bit lately before summer. Yeah, it doesn't show yet, but it's gonna eventually. And instead of doing like, series of 10 like most people do, I'm doing series of 11. So it's kind of putting one extra. Like coaches use that kind of stuff. If you are like a sports coach, please use that number 11 for being like the numbers that you're pushing yourself. So it's not an but it's really an accomplishment. It's a number of accomplishment. And finally 12, 7, 3 and 4. The 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles, the 12 knights of the round table, stuff like that. So that's these very interesting numbers as well. I just want to say, which is, we're back to mathematics, because I was remembering when I was a kid, I was really disturbed. Why do we count hours on 12? And the reason is right here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we literally learn to count on 12 and not on 10, and that's why some system, like the metric system, is not compatible with all the system on the planet. And as I was reading a lot of René Descartes lately, Descartes said God gave us a number. Again, the idea of God in the time of Descartes is very different than the time of today. But what is important is like this idea of God is not even really questionable per se in the Renaissance yet, in terms of the progression of philosophy per se, and even theology. And Descartes is saying, okay, we're saying 2 plus 2 is 4 because it was built like this, but if it has been said from the beginning that 2 plus 3 was equal to 4, then we will go with that system. So my point is like, it makes perfect sense that civilization use different system for different kind of society, of course. That's why I love the system. That's why I love to read Descartes. That's why I love to read the numbers. That's why I love that book by Damien Vigny. I'm going to try to put a book on there, which is around the region of Tuscany that I keep exploring more and more. So there's going to be more videos on Italian Tuscany on the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Whatever you do, if you're not doing it with a smile, well, don't forget that means you're probably doing it wrong. You guys, take care. Thank you very much.